Right.
Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
1000%.
All
All right, we
right.
got a couple people here. We got some people joining. All right, so when you can, let's go. Let's do this. All right, we're live streaming. Let's go ahead and rename ourselves if you'd like to rename yourself with your Instagram handle. If you can't do it, I can do it for you. And Katie is our guest today. She has graciously decided to help us with Instagram. Anyone need help with Instagram? Only all of us that won't put their hands up, right?
We
Who
need
here?
help
Let's
with
do this.
everything.
I need help with everything. I know, me too. Who here doesn't know who Katie Day is?
Katie Day is part of my daily plan. I have a best friend named Katie that I grew up with, and I write KT, and KT Day is all over my calendar. Like, do a KT Day reel, do this. Yes. So I know her well.
There you go. All right, we got a bunch of people joining. Oh, cool. We're gonna have a nice group of people. All right, hold on. Let me just add everybody in, getting started. Normally we start off with wins and all that for Friday, but we're just gonna jump right into it. Um, does anyone know that Katie likes shoes? Anyone know that? Yeah.
Dunks, right?
And if you look
No,
behind
don't
her,
know that.
if you look behind her, you'll see like she has one like each shoe encased in
Is this
glass.
like a new fun fact?
It's a fun fact.
I
Fun
like it.
fact.
What's
I
up,
don't know that
Eddie?
it's like an unknown fact, like a hidden fact. I think it's
I
pretty.
mean, I love shoes too, Katie. We have so much in common.
I love
Wow.
it.
I mean, instant like wow. I mean, like I have 1,000 shoes.
I'm gonna mute
Like
you, bro. Hey,
who?
stop. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, all right, all right, all right. Katie, you know a little bit about Instagram, right?
Some say that I do.
Some would say you do. Right? For context, should we tell them like, hey, well, let's just go like, how many millions did you guys sell last year? Let's just do production. Start there.
That's a great question, Coach.
Do you know your numbers?
That's a great question. We did like 180 sides. I don't
Oh,
have the number in front of me.
pretty good though. Yeah.
It was all right. Not
You got
bad.
like what, nine people, eight people, nine people on your team?
We've got five plus me, so six.
Oh, you nuked some people. Okay, good. Gotta clean up.
You talk to Chris, you tell him how many people you have, and he remembers it, and then you make adjustments to your team, and he's like, oh shit. So here we
Right.
are.
Hey, I mean, if you don't produce, you gotta go. Right? All right, cool. I'm gonna let Katie here. Let's make you the co-host. How do we do this? Make co-host. There you go. Now you're the co-host. You can do whatever you want. Screen
Oh,
share. There you go. You got the whole
giving
thing.
me the power.
You can mute anybody you want.
All right. Everyone's well behaved. It's good.
Right.
All right.
Ooh, the power of mute.
I know, right? Okay. So gonna talk a little bit about Instagram today. I love creating content. I also really like studying what works and then teaching it to agents, right? So I'm excited to share with you guys today. What we're gonna kind of talk about is social media that gets results. I think Dave's heard this 1,000 times, so he could probably help me teach it today. But basically what I have some slides here. I'll share these with y'all. All right. So just confirming I didn't
Yep,
share it with
that's good.
sound.
Perfect. Got it. Got it. And we're gonna do some Q&A, by the way. So this call will go like about an hour, you know. Katie is a little under the weather, like probably only all of us have been. So bear with us. All right.
Yeah, toddlers have been
Yeah.
hitting me hard the past
Thank
few
God.
weeks.
Thank
But
God for kids. Yep.
yeah, so I'm gonna run through this. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat or raise your hand. Either works. For the most part, what I have on slides, it's pretty comprehensive. So I'll roll through this pretty quickly. I'll share the slides with Coach so that he can, share them with y'all. And then like I'd like to spend time like answering questions or digging into Instagram stuff. But basically, what I'm going to talk about today is video and Instagram, right? Um, and we know that video helps us to reach more people in our local market so that they know who we are, right? Um, Okay. And then so as they follow along with our journey, hopefully like they watch enough of our content, they like us enough and trust our competency to then follow us, right? And then hopefully the biggest thing is for them to want to do business with us. And so when you create a lot of video, oftentimes when consumers reach out to you, they aren't asking you like how much you charge, they aren't questioning your competency. They're simply asking you if you have time to help them. And that's like the coolest thing that I've seen over the years with YouTube and Instagram and just creating content in general. You know, both agents but consumers reach out and say, hey, like, do you have time to help with this home? Or, you know, we're looking to sell our home, we're looking to buy a home. Can you help me? Do you have time to help me? Right. So that's really cool. People will often like make this very complicated. And so we want to keep it very simple, right? There are two things to do on social. One is to get more people to know you. And the second is to get them to do business with you. That's literally all you need to do is get more people to know you and then get them to do business with you. And so what I want to talk about real quick are the platforms because they've changed over the years. And so Facebook is more of a social based algorithm, right? So some videos can take off. We've seen a lot of people over the past year or so create content on Facebook that's like taken off and gone viral, and people that don't know them see it. But it's mainly a social based platform, right? Where it is people that you know seeing your content, like your friends, right? TikTok is more of an interest based platform. And so what that means is like you can watch a video on TikTok and then when you log back onto TikTok, like you're going to see that same creator on your nightly doom scroll, right? Like I don't know if you guys realize that, but like I don't follow a ton of people on TikTok, but like I watch videos and the videos I watch in through the for their entirety, like then I start seeing similar videos, right? So like say if it's a storytelling video or like I don't know if you guys are see those like stupid movie clips where it's like they like mash up a movie clip and then like so then I see that same movie over and over and over again, right? It's interest based. Okay. So you're seeing and being able to reach people that you don't know. Okay. As far as Instagram, do you guys think it's interest based or social based? Interest based or social based?
Social.
Social.
Interest.
Interest.
Anyone else?
I would say both or can
Both.
be.
Social.
Social. Okay.
I would say social.
I'd say
Both.
both.
All right. So over the past kind of year or so, it's moved more from a social based platform to more of an interest based platform, right? And so there's opportunity for you to reach people that you don't know and don't know you far more than ever before, right? And so when we talk about audience growth, that happens in your feed, that happens in the posts that you are making. And what's most important it isn't the likes, it's more so the shares and the saves. So when people are sharing your content, right? Like what are the posts that you're sending to your best friend? What are the posts that you're sending to your partner, your spouse, right? Like I don't know about y'all, but like I have like group chats on Instagram where we send memes, right? Like you can now see when you like a post. Like I don't know about y'all, but like I'll be scrolling on Instagram and I'll see something like diabolical and it'll be like, you know, Chris Robertson liked this post. I'm like, I knew Chris was my people, right? But like these days, people aren't really liking posts, right? They're often sharing them with people, right? Or they're saving them for later. Okay. And so the easiest way to create content that people will share and save in your local market is local content. So there's 3 styles of content right now that are performing really well. The first is love where you live content. And so Bella out of Jacksonville, Florida does this really well. She takes basically B-roll style content and she puts text over it. If someone told me they were moving to Jacksonville, Florida to be close to the beach, I'd tell them this. And then if you scroll down, she has a very long caption, which keeps people on the post for a very long time. So you can check out Bella's profile. This is like the majority of what her content is. But like depending on where you are, you may or may not have like aesthetically pleasing stuff, right? But you also can think like you could be driving through a neighborhood and put your phone out the window and you know record houses. You could record your local park. You can record a lot of different things, right? And there are people in local markets that aren't as aesthetically pleasing as Jacksonville, Florida, that can do this as well, right? And so let's see.
So is her stuff mostly faceless, would you say? Or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No, that's not correct. So here's another example. Fort Worth, Texas, South Lake, not as pretty as Jacksonville, Florida, but like similar thing, right? B-roll style content. Okay.
So
So love,
if anyone's hearing this, you don't have to put your face on camera. You could just do B-roll of the community and or your listings and throw some text over and captions, right?
yep.
Quick question. Can you do a B-roll and in green screen and put your face on there with the green screen, or is that only photos?
Yeah, you can.
You can. Okay.
Yeah. And we'll get into green screen here in a minute. So that's type one is the B-roll style faceless content, right? Love where you live content. You're your city's biggest fan type thing, right? Number two is on-scene reporting. So Alyssa Kernot is kind of the OG of this. She's in Spokane, Washington. And basically, like, whenever there's a new thing in North Spokane, like, she's posting about it, right? Her target audience is like moms with kids between like 2 and whatever, because she's a mom of 2 kids. And like, she posts, bars and restaurants, things to do with your kids, things like that. And so this is like, you're going out to the bar or restaurant, you're taking B-roll, right? You're recording, you're talking about, the things that you can do at this bar or restaurant, whatever it is, and then editing it. So this does require a little bit more work, right? The first one that I showed you of Bella, it's literally just like holding your phone out the window or standing at the beach and panning or walking towards a house type thing. This does require a little bit more work, right? The third style is reporting kind of local neighborhood news. And so Bill Olson does this in Charleston, South Carolina. And basically, this is taking stuff that's happening in your local market and talking about it. And if you look down here at the bottom, like this had 300 shares. So it's sent to 300 different people. This is him talking about a building that was getting sold in Charleston, South Carolina. Okay. So I'm going to play an example for you all real quick.
Everybody's been waiting for the
hear that?
market to crack, and well,
Yep.
it just did. Orange County up 66% in listings, LA up 45%. And that is just the beginning. Inventory just blew past 2019 levels in nearly every major California market. Homes are sitting longer, with median days on market spiking to 45. Why? It's not a seller's flood. It's a demand destruction. Buyers aren't biting at pandemic high prices, and sellers are pulling listings in frustration. Pending sales in the West down 38% from 2019. This isn't a dip. It's a demand drought. Buyers, this is your shot. You've been pushed around by sellers for years. Now, tables are turning. The smart ones are acting while others freeze up. DM me Shift, and I'll show you how to play.
DM me Shift, and I'll show you how to play this right. Right, is what he said. DM me Shift, and I'll show you how to play this right.
Yeah. Oh, so he's using ManyChat.
So, a couple of things with this video, right? When you listen to this video, literally all that he's doing is saying, hey, we've moved from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And so if you've been thinking about buying a home or trying to buy a home over the past few years, it's probably been pretty hard. But things are getting a little bit easier right now. And so if you want to take advantage of that, send me a DM. When like you distill down all of the words that he said, that's really all he said. Right. And so Rick does a really good job of taking the local news and then not necessarily spinning it, but then putting the real estate spin on it. Say, this is how this would impact you if you are a buyer, or this is how this would impact you if you were a seller. I mean, Chris, you're in Southern California, so like all the things that are happening as far as the Olympics and different ordinances and things like that, right? There's a lot that's happening, and like some of it's good and some of it's bad.
Right.
But the one thing that's for sure is like a lot of it's impacting the housing market. And so by simply like reporting on that, you're differentiating yourself from others around you. And so this particular post has more, but it was shared almost 8,000 times. At this point, it was shared definitely more than 8,000 times. It was saved almost 700 times. And he got 60 DMs from people that were looking to do something in his market. And at the end of the day, like I know people are gonna be like, oh, well, 60 people, like, all those people didn't, actually want to buy and blah, 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 blah. And maybe they couldn't get pre-approved, or maybe they this, or maybe they that. But like, I don't know about you, but I would love 60 potential leads in my pipeline that I didn't have before. Like, I think we could all use that, right? Like, I could use 60 more people in my pipeline
I
that I
love
didn't already have.
Tom said recently, and it might have been talking with you, Katie, to flip it like it's just like an open house. You're getting that many names to add to your CRM.
Yeah, no, 1,000%, right? Like, um, and so Chris mentioned ManyChat. You can definitely use ManyChat to like start the conversation. But like also keep in mind, like if this is lead gen for you, like as Elle said, like an open house, right? Are you treating this like lead gen? And should this be something that you're picking up pretty quickly to then have the conversation? Because, in a market like Southern California with a commission check being 25 to 30 grand on the low end, yeah, you should probably like put some time into that conversation, right? All right. So as far as the green screen style content, how do you create it? Let's get into the how. So the strategy, I'm going to run you through the strategy of how this works. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because one, you'll have the recording. Two, you'll have all the slides. And then three, I'll also send Chris a video of me going through this like slowly and more in depth. But you want to script out the video. And so you can use ChatGPT to do so, or you can take like, hey, here's a news article, like let me script this out. But I basically created a custom GPT that you can take a news article, paste it into the custom GPT, and it pops out a script, right? And so here it is. West Houston just got a massive new hangout spot, and it's anything but ordinary. Camden Park, da 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 da. Right?
Hey, quick, one of the things, Katie, that I found when I started trying to do this was news is there to really like terrify, not clarify. So there's a lot of like shitty news articles of like so and so died and da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, so where are you going to find the news that people, real estate related, local based related, that's not the, nightly news stuff?
That's a great question. Let's put a pin in that for like 5 slides.
There you go.
And I got you, coach. All right. So here's a script, right? You then take this script and you drop it into a teleprompter, right? You can also record it, like reading it sentence by sentence, but like I just find it easier to drop it into a teleprompter. I use BigView, BIGVU, and it does eye correction and stuff like that, but I just read the script on the teleprompter, and then I drop the video into CapCut, and this is where I use a green screen, right? So I go into Canva, I make a little background. I like using Canva to create a cohesive background because then I can have my brand font, my brand colors, all of my posts look the same. And then I make a little, headline. And then I take this video or take this image, I download it, and then I go into CapCut and I edit the video. So when you're editing the video, you can like remove your pauses. You can come in here, click remove BG, and do like the auto removal of the background in CapCut, which is really easy. It then will remove the background behind me, slowly but surely. And then I can add in the Canva graphic that I made. And then I can add in captions. So it's pretty easy. And again, I'll send a video of how to do this where I'm walking through it a little bit more in depth. And then you post it. Post it on social, right? As far as topics that matter, there are some topics that matter that are very shareable and that people care about. So the first is like new developments and historic changes, right? Different things that are happening, especially in your like local markets. Like whenever there's new development or things are being torn down or the building that was there forever is changing from like a warehouse to, housing or a mixed use building, like people are like either really excited for progress or really pissed for progress or somewhere in between, right? So new developments and historic changes. Another one is like transportation and infrastructure, airports, high speed trains, new flights, different things like that. Local businesses and restaurants that are opening. And then like real estate, right? As far as all of these things, there are a few different ways in which you can source these things. The first is reading the news. So, like as Chris said, like if you go watch the news, it's like all just like, people are getting shot, things are stolen, the world is divided, and everything is doom and gloom, right? So going online and reading the news is helpful. Paywall websites is also helpful because oftentimes like the average consumer doesn't pay for a paywall website. So like by paying for it, you have more information than the average consumer.
That's huge. Can you pause for a second on paywall? So like you and I both know, and I think everyone on the call knows, like there's certain news websites that are paywalled out, meaning you got to pay like $1, $2 or whatever a year, a month or whatever. Can you recommend like what, Bloomberg? Are there some other ones or Wall Street Journal? I don't even know. But like, are there some national ones that you like versus your local ones, real quick?
I would lean in hard on like the local ones.
Okay.
You know, like and then also as far as some other local stuff, um setting up Google alerts is big. So like I have Google alerts set up for like Houston new construction, Houston development, Houston real estate, and like all got stuff that pops up on that I'm like, oh, like I didn't know about this. Um, market data is another one. So like if you guys look up Rick Lee, um, he does a really good job of taking market news and making it into actual news or market data, excuse me, and making it into local news, right? So when you look at his stuff, pretty much everything is real estate related. And like that's not by accident, right? That's him by choice doing that. He very rarely talks anything about any new restaurants, bars, things like that, unless it's something huge that's opening that's going to impact his area of Orange County. And then finally, like researching permitting. So like I research when permits are being filed. And that's something that like most people aren't going to go do. And like we've had people be like, well, no, like you've got to have an inside source somewhere. And I'm like, no, it's just like the Texas like filings. Right. And so those are kind of the ways I think Google Alerts is good. You can also set up like ChatGPT or Perplexity to like research for you. But like for me, like I want to be able to like make sure I understand all of the things. Like I'm actually reading the news so that I can like intelligently talk about it if someone like were to actually ask me about it, right? So those are just a few.
Got it. We hear you still.
Yeah.
Everyone else is muted, so yeah. I'm like, yep, we got it. Okay, cool. Permitting.
As far as setting up Google Alerts, if you just go to google.com/alerts, google.com/alerts, you can set up different alerts. And so basically you can create an alert about, and I could say Houston real estate news, which like I already have one similar to this. And then you click on the options as it happens once a day, once a week. Sources, what sources you want, language, region, how many results, and where you want it to be delivered to. I would recommend, depending on what it is, like to do more frequently than less frequently. Like if this is something that you're going to do like often, right? So that you know as things are breaking. And then yeah, so it's pretty easy to set up, and it just gets delivered straight to your email. All right. So we talked about audience growth. So this is something that can get you followers and get eyes on your content, which is great. But like that doesn't pay the bills, right? It like gives you a nice dopamine hit. You feel great because like people like you. But like if I'm not doing business for this, then like what's the point, right? So when we talk about audience growth, that's in the feed. But when we talk about audience conversion, that's in like the stories and the DMs and the comments, right? So I want to focus in on the stories, DMs, and comments. what I'm talking about now is something that you can do now, whether or not you already have something that's generating more like eyes on your content, because you probably already have people that are watching your content now, right? And so you can start to find hand raisers and get people in conversation with polls on Instagram, right? And so there are a few different types of polls that I really like um to use. And so the first is like locals only polls. Um, just to clarify of what I'm talking about here, um, basically on Instagram, when you create a story, you can add the little like smiley face thing in the top corner, top right hand corner. You can click on that and you can like add a location. You can add mention someone. You can add a little GIF, right? So you can have like the little dancing, like or the Tom Ferry that's jumping into the sky, like any of that kind of stuff. But you can also add polls. And so the entire point of a poll is for people to vote on it, right? And you ask a question and then they vote and they put their answers, based on the things that you have. And so locals only polls allow people to vote on something that's very easy and they don't have to think about. So I'm going to show you some examples. My buddy Josh in Jacksonville did this one. Describe Jacksonville in 3 words, and he put in stereotypical things about his city. Right. So Mark could do something like describe Toronto in 3 words. And it could be like, cold, windy, snow. Right. And it could be like food,
Sorry, I'm laughing.
right?
But that's only because I tease him daily. Sorry, go ahead. He's gonna hate that.
Dude,
Be icy, freezing,
terrible.
snow cone.
I'm going to be in Toronto on the 19th of February. And I was like, I don't know why I agreed to this thing in February. Like I must have had a stroke when I said yes. So yeah, that should be fun.
Sorry, Mark.
Anyways, I couldn't think of like,
Sorry, what are you here for on the 19th?
It's a Further Together event, like a agent-led little one-day conference.
Oh, okay. Listen, I would love to. I'm not going to be here. We're going to be away for my wife's 50th birthday, so it's too bad.
Are you going to be somewhere warm?
No, we're going cold. We're going to Banff, which is in the Rocky
Oh.
Mountains in Calgary. So a little ski
Yeah,
trip.
Banff is gorgeous. I love that.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun.
That's great. We'll have fun. I'll be
Thank
freezing
you.
my ass off in your town.
The
But anyways,
last one, redneck, beach, overpriced.
but yeah, like the stereotypical things about your city, right? So funny, like anyone would vote on this. This isn't like if you're looking to do real estate, it's like anyone could click, right? Another one that I did, Elle knows this from Texas. Like if you're moving to Houston, would you want to be closest to Walmart, Target, HEB, which is like the greatest grocery store ever, or Costco, right? And so another one that my buddy Truth did in San Antonio. If San Antonio were a drink, what would it be? Right. And so what I like about these is like when you're doing these, anyone can vote on them. Also like they're funny. And then third, you're not able to see the results of the poll until you click on the poll. So like if Chris does a poll on his story, I can't see that 22% of people voted for Manganata until I also click on the poll. Right. So it's spurring engagement from other people being like, well, I don't really care. Like, I don't really care what the drink would be, but like, I'm curious to know if everyone also thinks that margaritas are their drink of San Antonio. Let me see. Click.
Katie,
Right.
can I ask you something? Because I've started doing polls because Chris is really, putting this in my head to do this. And I'm laughing because at first I have no one answering but my other accounts, myself answering. And then second, I'm starting to get a few people, but I start to get discouraged because I don't feel like people participate in the polls. How long did it take you till you felt like you were getting traction on polls?
I mean, I think that
Does that make sense?
yeah, I think that it also kind of like depends. I'm gonna talk about a few other types of polls as well. But like I know that like Shannon Manjan in Austin like does a really good job with polls where it's like, which kitchen do you like best? Which I'm going out with a client today to tour new construction. Here's 3 houses. Which one do you think they're gonna choose? Right. So like this may not be like you have to think about like who's your target audience, who also follows you on social already. Right.
And my best one, Chris had me do it. I wasn't even going to do it. Is I got my wakeboard out when it snowed, and I said, "Who dares me to wakeboard in the snow, and who tells me to sit down, ma'am?" And I had so much engagement on that, but not so much on my real estate stuff yet. So
Yeah.
I'll check out Shannon's.
Yeah. All right. So real estate polls would be easier to identify people that may want to buy or sell. So some examples showing that you're working, right? So like Phil Olson did this one, listing agreement and buyer agreement going out tonight. Which are you planning on doing this year? The bottom one says nothing until I see 3% rates again. It's a conversation starter, right? So like whether one person, 10 people or 100 people vote on this, it's a conversation starter, and starting a conversation with one person is still better than like me sending Chris a DM that's just like, hey Chris, how are you today? They're like, why is Katie DMing me? Like, what does she need? Right? They're voting on the poll. Another one that Bill did, closing day for my clients. Are you interested in buying a home? We negotiated under asking price and all closing costs paid.
That's pretty cool. I'm waiting for 66% of people said waiting for 3% rates again. Wow.
But that's still a DM. Dude,
Right.
I know, man. I would love to see 3% rates again. What'd you lock in at? Do you own a home now? And here's the thing, in lots of markets, there are builders that are doing crazy deals that you could get a 4% rate. You could get something for a year. You could get a buy down, right? Like, so waiting for 3% rates, like, yes, that is many people's objections, but like, have they ever even talked to a lender? Do they know how, like, what that looks like, right? So like the throwaway answer that 66% of people said could potentially actually be something that could result in conversation, right? I love this as a conversation starter. How often do you check Zillow? Daily, weekly, monthly? What Zillow?
I love the what's Zillow? 8%. What is a Zillow?
But like 27% of people check it daily.
Yeah, daily? That's
No one's checking
crazy.
Zillow daily unless they're thinking about making a move, right?
Correct. Those are your top of funnel or bottom of funnel, really. Bottom of funnel daily. That's cool.
I like this one too because he used the background,
Hmm.
right? And then for Truth's poll, the one that I just showed you, 140 people responded on the poll. 140 people. And he didn't actually have time to respond to all of the people. So he could have potentially gotten more business, but he got 2 actual buyers out of that. Even if you only had 5 people say that they are on Zillow, those are 5 people that you could have a conversation with.
So real quick, what's the response like? Is that a DM like, hey, saw you replied, like, or whatever, you're on Zillow often, like, or is it just flat out like, hey, yeah, there you go. Thanks. She's
Great
got
question,
the
Chris.
answers. Hey, great question.
question.
Hey, thanks, Katie.
I love that. All right. So the first thing is you always want to respond to as many, if not all of them, right? For this one, I said, hey, like, what type of stuff do you want to see from me or my account? When they responded, I said, hey, appreciate the vote. What area of town do you live in? He lives in Cyprus. Oh, awesome. There's a lot of stuff happening out there, right? So I wasn't like, hey, I appreciate you voting that you want real estate trends. Do you want to buy or sell a house? Right? Like, think about like when someone walks into an open house, like you're not just like, well, are you going to buy this house today? You're like, oh, Alexander, like, thanks so much for coming in. How'd you find it? Oh, cool. Have you been looking for a while? Oh, awesome. Have you written any offers? Great. Are you just looking in this area? Nice. Like, you're having a back and forth. And so too often, like, people are like, oh, you liked my post. You want to buy a house? Right? So like, be a human. Don't get weird, but like have that conversation, right? So this person voted on this poll. I then said, hey, like, I did a little screenshot of me like going through all the MLS data for the monthly sales. And I was like, do you want to report for your area? He then, a couple weeks later said he wanted to report for his area, signed up for market updates. We then listed his house and sold it. Right. So like
That's
it
huge.
started of him just being like, oh yeah, like appreciate you being here. I'm voting on this. It then turned into I'd like market updates. It then turned into, oh, well, actually my house is listed with someone else, but I'd like you guys to list it. Right. Here's someone, right? Someone every so often they're on Zillow. So the response was, hey, well, are you like me and you check your estimate to see how wrong it is? But then this person voted on a poll.
I love that. Are you like me? That's an NLP thing.
Yeah. But then he voted on this poll about a new listing coming up and said he wanted the details.
That's actually a great poll in of itself. Is are you like me and you like to see how wrong Zillow is? And then to be like, yes, 100%, always wrong.
Then this daily one, hey, possibly planning for a move. They're like, oh, I'm originally from Jax. I'm moving back. Da, 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 da. Hey, we'd love to help you out on that. Are you planning for a move? Yeah, I'm watching the market. Exciting. Are you currently local? Right. But it's not like, hey, well, we can help you to buy immediately. It's like, oh, well, like you're local. Oh, that's awesome. It's a great area. You're planning on building new or buying an existing home. Right. Just like you would have if someone walked into your open house. And if this is like too difficult, drop the conversation in the chat and be like, how do I respond to this and not be too salesy? And then like take out a third of the words the chat says because the responses are always so freaking long.
How does he get his hair to be so amazing?
We've been talking about it. Like, I think he's going to give Brad McCallum and Jimmy Mackin a run for their money for best hair in real estate.
1000%. That's possible.
It's pretty impressive actually.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of using a voice memo. So people know you're a real person and the response rate increases. So this person voted that they were looking to sell a home. Bill responded, hey, hope you're having a great day. And then he clicked on the little voice memo. And he said, hey, thanks so much for voting. I appreciate you. I can definitely send you over a market report if you're like thinking about maybe selling your home. I just need to like know what your address is. So like send that over, whatever. Right. They then responded and say, yeah, we've been thinking about it for a while. Here's my address. And now he's doing a CMA and like going on a listing consult. Right.
That's awesome. And that's 4% of his people that wrote selling a home. And he got that one. Selling a home, voted. I hope you're having a great day. Okay, cool.
But like neither I like to judge people on listings on Zillow. Like the more you're in DMs with people, like, the more Chris and I DM, the more I see his content on my feed. So like if people are voting on the throwaway, neither, but I like to judge listings on Zillow. Ha ha ha. Have you seen any good ones? Right? Like, oh man, did you see this one? You send them a crazy listing, right? Zillow Gone Wild listing or something, right?
Yeah, just thinking Zillow Gone Wild. That's a good one.
Or like, oh, like, did you see this one? It's in our market. Like, how crazy is this? Like, it's in the neighborhood, right? And then the truth did this one, the new listing coming up. I want all the details. I love this. So, truth, screw things up with the one because he only DM'd like half the people that voted on his poll. But I love this. New listing coming up in Castle Hills. I want the details, blah, 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 whatever. Someone voted that they wanted all the details. He then responds, hey, we just went live with this property. I'm doing an open house if you're able to swing by. Right? That's great. Good job. You did the thing. But then the property went under contract. He went back to that poll. He went back to every single person that voted and said, hey, are you still looking? This one just went under contract, or this one, we just sold this one. It's closed now. It's gone. It's no longer available. But there's other great deals that are popping up in the area. Would you like for me to keep you up to date with those? It would be like if someone came into your open house, that house sold, and then you went back and did a wild thing and called them to be like, hey, the house that you came in originally to look at, that one's gone. But there's 3 others that have come on the market since we met, 45 days ago. This is the type of differentiation of follow-up that 98% of people aren't going to do. And he's actively working with this buyer now. But like the one DM of like, hey, this property went live wouldn't have really probably gotten him anywhere. But the fact that he then came back 45 days later or 60 days later to be like, yo, this one's gone, but I have others. Like, I just think is like top notch. People aren't doing that. People aren't doing that with open house leads. People aren't doing that with buyer leads. They're certainly not doing it with Instagram DMs, right? So just remember, 2 things to do are to get more people to know you and then get them to do business with you. What do we got? Questions?
Nice. Thank you. Q&A time, friends. Put your hand up.
I have a question.
There you go.
So, hi, Katie. My name is Mary. I'm from Las Vegas. I have a question. How do you recommend Facebook Marketplace for the same thing that we are basically doing as polls?
What do you mean for Facebook Marketplace?
So with the Facebook Marketplace to market our listings on Facebook Marketplace, like saying that, hey, this home is hitting the market next week. Who is interested? DM us. And then without putting any address, any information, any, number, So because when you put on Facebook Marketplace, they're going to ask you some for the price. You can just put a limit, but you don't have to put the address. So when I do that on my listings, I get tons of is it still available? What's the address? And the conversation stops right there after I say, yes, this is the address. We have an open house. It's going to hit the market next week. What's your phone number? What's your email? So I can reach out to you, send you the information. Then the conversation stops right here. So I'm thinking that maybe this is not a very strong platform.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like uh, generally speaking, whether you're selling, a desk or, trying to lead gen, Facebook Marketplace often people aren't as serious, So I mean, I think that like you could take a similar approach and like DM them again when you have another open house, um, or something like that. But like generally speaking, people aren't going on Facebook to browse for a house. They're like doom scrolling kind of thing. So I mean, I think like you could add some additional follow up in for those specific people, but yeah.
Okay. So do you think I should stop wasting time on that Facebook Marketplace platform?
I mean, I know some people generate leads from it, but if it's not working out for you, I'm sure you and coach could figure out what makes more sense as far as an SOP.
Okay. Thanks.
I have a question. The question is, so does the name of the channel matter? I know you did a separate channel, Unlocked Houston or Houston Unlocked. Is it is it better to start from scratch, or does that really matter?
No, I mean, and honestly, for most people, I would encourage you to not start from scratch. I did because I had about 40,000 followers and only a very small percentage, about less than 10% were in Houston. So I knew that if I did this style of content, like most of my followers wouldn't watch it, which, would kind of be a negative thing. Um, Bill and Rick both just started doing this style content on their page, and they were able to go from like uh doing the content to asking for business far faster, right? Because like they were already a realtor. It was a real estate page, and there's no like, oh, well, like here's a bait and switch. Like I think a very good example is Ken Posick in Orlando, Florida. He has the Orlando Reel. They created that a couple years ago. And like now on every single video at the end, if you watch a video of his in its entirety, at the end, it's like buy and sell real estate, call the Posick Group, or this is sponsored by the Posick Group, type stuff. But it took him a very long time to start adding that in as like part of the CTA and part of like the ad on the post. But like if you're Dave, the real estate agent reporting the news, you showing real estate stuff like isn't out of the ordinary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, Eddie, you got your hand up. You got to unmute.
Hey, Katie, Eddie Arnaz, Hollywood Hills here. Just have a quick question.
Hollywood.
Um, you mess up my train of thought. I'm 50 years old. It's like I just completely left my brain now. Thank you.
Oops.
No, out of curiosity, I know, big oops. But it's kind of coming back now. Um, do a lot of people do open houses? Because I used to go to open houses back when there were a lot of new construction. So like 50 million, 30 million. And because, a lot of people don't even see them unless they're at that level. And you always see like, the best architects and best materials that are people are putting out there. And so I used to always kind of do like when tubs were first coming out, I used to do a tub of the week every Tuesday. And so I used to just post these. And I used to get a lot of responses. I just haven't done it in a long time. But then also, hashtags, and I think you can kind of integrate or combine like the tubs with the poll. How do you like this? How do you like that? Like, um, so I'm kind of wondering like, should I do that again and just start like going to these big high end and because again, not very many people see this. So it's like you're kind of exposing them to all this new material, all this new like high end, a little bit obnoxious. And given the fact that like the way I think society is now, how we're kind of split, I don't know if I'm just gonna get hate from a lot of people, and because I do get sometimes like people like that's so obnoxious that you're posting like a $30 million house. And I'm like, so I'm just curious, like, do a lot of your colleagues, your groups of in social, like, do they do this kind of stuff, or I just don't know if I should even kind of dip my toe back in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it depends on what you are looking to do and where your target audience is. Like I think generally speaking, when you're creating content, like there will be people that are gonna like talk shit or hate on it or like DM you or whatever. But like the fact of the matter is like those homes exist and people buy and sell them, right?
Right.
If your average buyer is buying a $2 million house and then like all you're highlighting are $30 million houses, like that may not align, right? And so maybe like you just focus on the $5 million houses and below or something, right? Like I think that it varies. One of the things that I didn't talk about today, like, is home tours and like doing content around home tours. And so, there's a few people that like are really crushing that right now. And so one is Roland Osage in the Bay Area. And so he's in like the East Bay and like all he does on TikTok and YouTube are home tours. So, like I just dropped his Instagram in the chat. And so like maybe it's not necessarily like just tubs, it's like highlighting different homes and you do home tours every week, right? And like that's again something that's like immediate to real estate and gets business, right? And so like what I would say is if you're doing home tours, like I would tour the home as if you are touring it with a buyer, right? And like how like if you tour a home with a buyer, you're like, hey, like like the view is great, but like the foundation is crumbling and like this house, like so you wouldn't necessarily say that on the video, but like you would tour it like you would with a client, right? Like, hey, a lot of people are going to think that this is the most amazing thing about this house, but da, 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 da. Not like check out 123 Main Street, you should buy this house, right? Like that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and one last question. Thank you, by the way. So I think maybe a lot of us are always dealing with this about like, it's a constant balance of my personality, which is completely out far, crazy. Like I can joke, I can do all these things. And so then I always like overthink things like a lot of us, right? We start to wonder, should I post that? Me joking around saying stupid things. Should I say that? Should I because I am who I am, and I know, and I'm at the point where you can kind of pick and choose who you want to work with, which is we're very lucky. But it's that I just juggle with that because I'm really jokey. I like to be silly, and it's kind of like Tom would always say like go for your tribe, right? You're gonna have people that hate it, and there's people that love it, and then so it's like that's where my dilemma is constantly like, should I just joke around like Vanna White, hey, like, I just sometimes it's just too hard for me to be too serious. I mean, I could do it, but I just don't know the balance, or I don't know. What's your opinion on that?
I think that you need to be who you are and act how you would act if you were with a client, right? And so like for some people, like they're going to show up in a suit and tie and they're going to have the conversation and they only use proper words and they never say shit and they don't curse when they drop something on their toe and like whatever, right? But then there's other people like that show up in like jeans and boots and that's their style and it works, right? Like so I would just be who you are and
See what
be
happens.
authentically you,
Yeah.
right? Like I wouldn't be like there's some people out there that are like doing like they like say and do crazy shit like for the wow fact, like there's the Tampa Brie, and she's like
Oh
and
my
saying like sexual
God.
innuendos and like crazy things, like
Yeah.
that's I may say that in the group chat, but like I would never say that in real life. right?
I still don't know how her sellers even allow that, but whatever.
She doesn't
Yeah.
actually sell. She doesn't actually
Oh, yeah,
sell.
there we go. That's what I thought. I was like,
But you know what I mean. So like, so if it's a joke you would crack with an eight, like with a client while you're touring a home, right? But like, if you wouldn't say it to your grandmother and you wouldn't like say it to a client, like, you know, I would just find that balance. But like, if you try to go on social and be someone that you're not, and then you show up and you're, you know, wearing your hat and your t-shirt and you're like, "What's up, man? I'm so excited to tour the house." They're gonna be like, "Well, who's the guy in the suit that was telling me about this bathtub?" Right? So
got
just
you.
find the happy medium.
All right, let's
Yeah.
say so to keep cut so keep some context here. Just by the way, uh, Katie is the authority on everything,
I don't
right?
know about that.
In life. IG being like probably because I didn't want to go down the YouTube rabbit hole because I know like only four of us will actually do the YouTube things, and everyone else will be like, like I'm thinking about it. Everyone here is on IG and could do better. So like the polls, some takeaways were like do the polls. By the way, everyone except for Aaron Wilder are going to get all the slides and the recording. Aaron, you absolutely won't. Definitely not. Thank you for asking that question in the chat. Um, and
Thanks,
then,
Chris. Appreciate it.
of course, love you, bro.
So helpful. So
And
helpful.
then Ellen, you have your hand up. I know Dave does too. Let's go Ellen first because, yeah,
That
ladies.
was nice of you. Sorry to jump in front of you, Dave.
No,
Kate,
no, ladies first.
thank you. Real quick question is when you were talking about go, one of those three styles, I'm already where I mix those three, but I tend to go same style with my font and coloring and stuff. Do you think that's the right way to go? And secondly, Chris had me start an Austin, Texas Unlocked and it was doing really well. I'm from Austin, but I live an hour outside in Lago, a small town, and where my brain is like fighting against it is my Austin Unlocked does great, and I still sell in there, but I want to get more hyper local. Am I hurting myself spreading it too far that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you are more focused on, you know, another city, there are things in Austin that would impact people that live in your city, right?
Right.
If the airport is doing something or there's an ordinance change and people might want to move out of the city type stuff, right? But like covering every single thing that happens in Austin, like probably isn't something that would um
I
be
tried to
something that
get like holiday stuff that you would go into town here for, and also like the highways, but you do still think it is productive to keep the Austin and still be able to go hyper local.
yeah, I mean, I would focus in on what your target audience cares about
Okay.
and focus on the local stuff in your local market. And if there are things in Austin that people would care about, then talk about that. But like, I wouldn't focus on everything that's happening in Austin now.
Okay. And then about the three different styles, that you were talking about, you can go this route, this route, this route. I tend to mix those three already. Do you think that is smart, or should I stick to one, like the news style or this style on my L Cells Texas?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, what builds an audience faster is focusing on one style.
Okay.
And then once you have an audience, you can kind of do different things at that point. Right. And so, like, I give an example of like Brad McCallum, you know, only did property tours in Calgary for a very, very long time. And once he had an audience, then he could do like a property tour when he was on vacation in the Bahamas. Right. And
Yeah.
people would like watch it because they loved Brad. Right. Like they came for like, I want to watch Calgary houses and they stayed for him. Right.
Okay.
Like Tyler Hassman, another Alberta, Canada agent, he did home tours in Alberta for a very, very, very long time. And then once he built an audience, he then could do home tours in Houston or home tours in other cities,
I
and
tend
people love it.
to do my degrees design, so I do the interior design when I'm at open houses with me like getting in the bathtub, and those do really, really well, showing it without saying, look at 123 Banana Street. But then I was also mixing in personal, like my golf reels with my husband blow up. So I was mixing those two. So that's what I just didn't know if I do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think people want to know like who you are and what you're for. So like that's great.
Okay, thanks.
Dave, how's your arm,
Yeah,
buddy?
Dave. Yeah, sorry, your arm's up. Dave, now you're
Oh.
next.
My arm's good. I have a question. So I've been doing the local news stuff, and actually I do the city I love because I do love this city and just have a good time with it. But I'm posting to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook the same video. Should I change it up for each one, or does it matter? Or I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't think that you need to I don't think that you need to change it up. I think that you just need to be aware of the like caption. Like if you're, I don't know if you're natively posting it on all the platforms or if you're using something like repurpose to push it from one to the others.
I found I was using, oh, no, I'm doing it natively, and I use the Instagram edits to edit
Yeah.
the reel or short, and then I just take that, download it, and then I upload it to each
To
separately.
every like manually to each one.
Yes. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is
So I mean,
probably
I would just
dumb.
make sure that you're optimizing the captions, right? So like I push mine on Instagram. And then after Instagram, then I push it to all the other places like from uh using repurpose.io. So like I don't do that, right?
You
Like I'm not
repurpose? I thought you were using Metricool. Did you stop?
I've never used Metricool. I just people a lot of people use it. So I always tell people that that's something you could
Maybe I thought you
use.
were so cool you were using Metricool. We use repurpose.io.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
like Dave, like I have this as the I always have one sentence as the headline
Mhm.
and then I like hit enter and then I do the caption. And so some are shorter or longer than others, right? But the reason why I do that is because this isn't going to be the right YouTube channel. The reason why I do that is because then on my shorts,
We got some Paw Patrol over
it
there.
yeah, you know, I
Peppa Pig, Paw
you like the
Patrol.
things I watch. I'm
I
real into
know.
Peppa Pig.
I love it.
Uh then on my shorts, it has like the same, I don't know why there's two of that one, but it has the same like headline. You see that there? Drone deliveries are coming to Houston this spring. So then if someone's scrolling, they still see the headline. But if I have like the caption, and I know I'm getting like really into the weeds right now, but if I have the caption, it's like just one big paragraph, people aren't going to read that. Right. And so if I'm scrolling on shorts, having a headline, in my opinion, is better. Right. So I would just make sure you optimize the captions, especially if you are um natively posting them. It's super easy to do to make sure that like it makes sense because it doesn't always make sense if you're just pushing it from Instagram out.
No, I
Cool.
do that too. I'll just do the title and then I'll do the rest in the description for the shorts.
All right, good
I,
news. So everybody should be following Katie. If you're not, then you shouldn't even be on this call. You should just delete or just go end call now, right? Kidding. I wanted to have her talk about consistency, right? Because that's one of the things lately. I mean, she's doing 75 hard. If no one knows what that is, look it up. Consistency, right? The first thing she said when her and I got on the call today was like, and I've heard this a lot this week, is like under the weather. Like like so you have batched content for what, 30 days worth of batch content? There was a time and place where I don't know if it was around COVID or after that where I'm like, what's your secret? And it was like all the best batch, right? And that wasn't you. That was like Tom or someone else, Pantana, one of those. Consistency. When you don't feel like showing up on video, like 13 of the people that have their video off today that never said anything and now, have no choice to say anything because I won't let them. I'm kidding. But like, you don't feel like coming up on video. What do you do? Do you batch? How much content do you batch? Give us some context there. Is that
Yeah.
helpful?
So Jennifer is actually going to film right now, so that's great.
Yeah, she's like,
So
I'm out.
there's
Yep.
there's two things that like are super helpful. One is batching content. And so for like this style content, like I'll shoot 2 to 10 videos in a day
Hmm.
and then have them for the next 2 to 10 days, right? And so some days I post more than one piece of content, but the other is carousel posts, right? And so one of the things that we do is when we're posting content, when stuff like lists are an easy way to do a carousel post, right? So these are just like the Houston
Oh, how'd you do
restaurants
this one? This is legit.
that
These aren't
showed
even
up.
those weren't even your photos.
Yeah, and so these are Houston restaurants that showed up on the top 100
Did
Yelp
you just take
restaurants.
those photos from Yelp or where'd you get them?
Yeah.
Love it.
So that's like one, right? And then the other thing is like anytime we have a post that performs well, like we repurpose it as a carousel.
Hmm.
And so you can either do it with images or like just if you're looking for like a master class, BAM is doing this, where like they're taking this is like a him on like a role play or a
Hmm.
pod or something, right? Or training. And this is an image, and then this is a video, right?
Got it.
This is an image of Jared, and then this is a video. And so like I've done it like once, but like we've done that with some of our podcast clips. So like this is an image and this is a video, right?
Nice.
And so the reason why carousels like are good, it's like when you're scrolling, like you notice there's like 2 slides on this. Sometimes you'll get fed up the first slide, and then like you'll be scrolling later in the day and you're going to see the same post, but it's the second slide. And so like for the BAM post that I was showing you a minute ago, like sometimes you'll see these, and like sometimes you'll see Byron's silly face, and then sometimes you'll see his silly face talking to you, right? And it's
Got
the
it.
same post, but it's getting fed up to you multiple times.
That's cool.
So that's a good way, like especially like when you're not like if you're like I can't post this, but like I should post about it, you can make a carousel post. And so like you can just go to Canva and say, you know, that you want to make a post. So just I'll show you like how easy it is. Create an Instagram post. Go into elements, or sorry, go into design and type in news style post. News break. And then like here are
There you go.
posts that look very similar
Hmm.
to new like the stuff that news
Yeah.
places are doing.
I see a lot of people doing this right now. This is cool.
And then I can change this to, you know,
Banana real estate.
move me to Texas.
There you go.
I can, you know, blah 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 blah, right? And like make a
This is
post, put my
awesome.
logo on it.
Yep.
Super simple.
That's cool. And what percentage of videos that you're doing on Insta are AI avatars, like clones from HeyGen?
Not a ton. Like
Not a ton.
less
Okay.
than 10%.
Less than 10%. So, because we talked about that a little bit at Elite Retreat, and that was something that, obviously Pantana's talking about, is all the AI stuff is like HeyGen and using the voice of 11 Labs, etc. And one of the things that people and some of my clients have said on this call is like, well, I don't really want to do AI all the time because then who really wants to connect with an AI bot? They want to connect with the authentic you, right? So would that be like maybe instead of batching, would that be your backup? Like I feel like crap today. I don't feel like filming, and so I'm gonna do like a HeyGen and 11 Labs or what?
So yeah, like there have been times like that I'm in the airport getting ready to get on a flight and I'm like, oh shit,
Right.
this is something like that I should do. And I like drop a script in HeyGen and I edit the video on my phone and I post it. Right. So I've had a few of those.
Mhm.
My buddy Josh in Jacksonville, like his entire account is AI.
Which one is that? Josh and Jax, or
Yeah.
the hair guy with the AI
Yeah.
hair?
That's his hair, but like
I don't believe it.
his entire account on Instagram is AI.
Are you
Right.
serious? So it's
Yeah.
all HeyGen?
Yeah.
So he is
But
cloned
he gets
himself
stopped
and
at Costco. He gets stopped at the grocery store. People are like, oh, you're the guy, right? Like,
you're that guy I see. I can't get you off my damn phone,
Yeah.
right? Okay. All right, I wondered because I know we talked a little bit about that. All right, guys, I gotta be cognizant of Katie's time. Thank you, by the way. We love you, Katie. We're grateful for you. I know some people are bouncing off and stuff, but before everyone bounces off, Are there any other burning Instagram / Katie Day? Like you're talking to the, this is like the subject matter expert on all things Instagram, YouTube, everything else. I know like Robert Mariani's not even in his screen. I love that. He does that. Like he's out.
I might have missed
Can I
this, but
ask-
what's like Katie's tech stack? And I know it could be different for everybody, but what's like some of the stuff that is like non-negotiable items that you're using?
My videographer, and then
There you
I
go.
would say like I use my phone and CapCut for anything I'm doing on my own.
So you're not using a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 with a blah blah blah. You're using like because you use your phone. The other thing too is use your you hold on a second. You gotta go. Yeah, okay. Let's wrap it up. Let's do this. Anyone that has another question, okay, let's do this. You can always DM Move Me to Texas, or even better yet, you could put the question into Coaching with Chris, and we'll make sure that Katie gets it. Because I just realized too, she gave me a hard stop of 1011, which is a great number, by the way. But thank you, Katie. So any questions that come up, we will get those over to you. And then, by the way, yes, everyone, including Aaron, you'll get the slides, the recording, the
Yeah,
playback.
Aaron, if he doesn't send it, I send it to him. So
I know. I just had to be funny. But that's it.
Thanks,
Love you,
Chris.
Katie.
Thanks, Katie. I gotta
Yeah, I
run, but thank
appreciate
you so
everyone
much,
on the
guys.
call. Thank you for showing up today, and we'll get this recording into the Coaching with Chris.